Hello and welcome to the Just Interesting podcast, the podcast that I fear is getting slightly too interesting. So this week we have an extra boring episode for you to balance things out. With me this week, as always, are Alex.
Hey, Martin.
Alex.
Hey,
Alex. Do you prefer apple juice or orange juice?
Oh my God, so much pressure. Orange juice. Probably,
Orange juice.
I'd say orange juice. Yeah, I'd also like to thank you for taking the pressure off this week. I was thinking, I've got to be interesting, but now you've said it's a particularly boring one.
As boring as you like.
The weight has been lifted off my shoulders, so thank you for that. Yeah.
No trouble. And Robin, do you prefer apple juice or tomato juice?
Oh, apple juice.
There's no question, is there? There's no question.
No,
it's
not
apple
really.
juice all day. I think orange juice for me. It wins. It wins all out.
Orange juice. Best
Orange
juice.
juice.
Yeah.
With the bits or pulp if you're American.
Oh, smooth.
No, with bits for me.
Like
I like
ice.
add the pulp it in.
Yeah, I'm with Martin on this.
Okay, so we as a podcast, sorry Robin, you've been outvoted. Orange juice with pulp. At home, what do you like? Let's put a poll up. What do you like? Orange juice with pulp or without pulp? Or are you an apple juice fiend? And if you like apple juice, do you like it clear or cloudy? There's just too many options.
Yeah. Robin.
How about the best kind of juice? Love juice. Do you like it pulpy and cloudy, or do you like it smooth?
Oh my God, Robin. I mean, Robin, I've got a question for you. Apple juice, orange juice, or battery acid?
Orange juice?
Oh, I thought,
Was that a trick question?
I thought you'd go for the battery fuel.
Yes.
No, I knew where you're going with that one, but no, we're not having that this week.
Oil.
Are we not?
A bit of virgin olive oil, yeah.
Virgin olive oil. What about extra virgin olive oil?
Oh, not extra virgin. That's too much.
Okay. That's the level. That's gone too far. So how are you guys? Are you well?
I'm good. I'm good, thanks, Martin. I'm now really fancying some orange juice, but
I know.
Apart from that, I'm fine.
I'm thirsting for juice.
Good.
How are you, Martin?
I'm all right. I was thinking about apple juice versus orange juice earlier, and that's what brought up that intro. Because for me, it's orange juice all the way. But I know for a fact that apple juice is quickly growing in stature. It's quickly growing in stature. Yes, yeah. I looked at a Twitter poll, and apple juice was winning, and it blew my mind.
This is why you should never go on Twitter, Martin. It's
cesspit hellhole.
Cesspit hellhole.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Strong words.
I'll tell you what isn't a cesspit hellhole, and that is our Patreon page and the lovely supporters we have on there. And so I thought I'd just take an opportunity to thank the bigwigs, the big guns who have supported us through thick and thin. So I want to thank Hayden Smith, Josh Chomachek, Peaswad, Emmett Tapia, Liam Mullen, and our good friend Chris McCrate. Thank you guys for your ongoing support. Those are our gold member patrons. Yeah.
Stop getting Bond wrong.
So thank you for all your support. And this week, in our episode of A Little More Interesting, we discussed our good friend Roger Stone, didn't we?
Don't call him our good friend.
Our good friend Roger Stone. Convicted criminal Roger Stone. Who this week has basically been saying that Trump should bring about martial law if he loses the election. Yeah, so if you fancy delving into the bizarre case of Roger Stone and his ramblings, head on over to our Patreon now, and you can access that.
Don't you kind of miss when political conspiracy theories were far-fetched? When you had to really reach for them? Now it's just the low-hanging fruit. Do they want a military government? Yeah. He said it.
There was a time not that long ago when will there be a civil war in America was like a debatable, a kind of a theoretical question. Now it's like, could it happen?
Yeah.
Will it happen?
Genuinely might.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. We're living in crazy times. But
those little a little more interesting podcasts will also be available to our lovely YouTube members. If
they
you're
will be
watching us on
YouTube members,
YouTube, you can join and get access to our little more interesting.
Indeed you can. Right, on to the I'm going to say the meat of the topic, but that's what's coming up later. First, we're going to discuss what we've learned this week. So, guys, what have you got for us? Alex?
Oh, well, I have learned that one particular part of the UK is under attack, Martin. They are being invaded by an army of chickens. And I speak, of course, about Jersey. The Channel Island of Jersey is being invaded by chickens. This is what I've learned this week. Apparently, feral chickens, a few escaped chickens, probably from like pets that people had, have a few of them escaped on this island and have been breeding and creating an army of chickens that have been terrorizing the residents. Over 100 birds, gangs, as in like there are multiple gangs of over 100 birds in each gang, have attacked joggers, they've destroyed yards, they've blocked traffic, and apparently they're waking all the residents at 4 a.m. by just screaming. And with everything going on in the world, I feel like this has been overlooked, and I just wanted to bring this terrorizing incident to the masses. It's going overlooked.
Thank you.
People say that local newspapers serve no purpose anymore, and this is the kind of story that says that that's blatantly false.
Yeah,
blatantly false. We need to know about this stuff. I mean, do you feel sorry for the residents of Jersey? I think it's a welcoming distraction, isn't it? I'd love to be woken up at 3 a.m. by chickens and be annoyed about that and be discussing that with my neighbours, as opposed to discussing Roger Stone and telling Trump that he should declare martial law. This sounds like a good news story to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit different, isn't it? I mean, it's like imagine if this was your main problem in the world. Like, some chickens are waking me up. But in all seriousness, though, like every single day, 4 a.m, an army of chickens outside your door, screaming. That'd be horrible.
Gangs.
I vote that they
roaming.
Yeah, they need to get what's like an animal that's kind of equal to a chicken. I want a big battle between animals.
Like
ducks. Release some ducks.
Yeah. Like a big duck, I guess.
Or a goose.
No, chicken probably.
A big duck. One
duck. Why is it one of those hypotheticals? Would you prefer to fight 100 tiny chickens or one giant duck?
Yeah.
And in generations to come, they shall refer to him as the Duck of Jersey, who saved us from the chicken plague of 2020.
Exactly. Apparently the reason for this is because there are no like foxes or natural predators on the island. So that's
there are no foxes on Jersey?
No, apparently not. So, well, I mean, how would they get there?
Well, this is an island.
Swim there.
How does anything get on an island?
I mean, that's true. How did the chickens get there?
How did a chicken cross the sea?
Yeah, he probably came on a boat.
Sadly, what they obviously need to do is find and kill the roosters, right? All the males. And then they can lay all the eggs they like, but they're not going to get fertilized.
Just call yourself a vegetarian.
Hey.
We've just got to kill all the roosters.
I'm not in it for animal welfare.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, I hope that there is some peace at the end of this dark poultry tunnel.
I hope that whatever happens, they find peace.
Exactly. But there could be some more free chicken for people on the island of Jersey. Got to think about the positives of a story like this.
It sounds like KFC should open an outlet. They would make a killing.
Yeah, they would. They would literally make a killing.
Literally do it. Yeah.
I'll update you on this story as it develops.
Please do. But my sympathies, to the residents of Jersey.
Yeah.
It's incredibly important. Robin, what about you? Is yours chicken related?
It is not chicken related. It's actually looking back in the past. And I learned this week that scientifically speaking, if you go back, and this applies to everybody, every single person in the world, if you go back 7 generations to your great grandparents, you share statistically less than 1% of your DNA with them.
They're basically a banana.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
I mean, you only go back 4 generations to your great-great-grandparents and you have less than 7% of your DNA with them. So whenever So this whole... What's interesting to me about this is that, because... ancestry, people love to know their heritage and where they come from, and that's cool. I'm a big fan of that, and genealogy is a wonderful pastime. But there's this trend recently about 23andMe and doing a DNA check and people being like, oh, I'm X% Viking or I'm X% Dutch or whatever, and people cling to that and say, oh, isn't that cool? And it's like, you're not really.
Yeah.
So you're just shutting down people's optimism and like, oh yeah, I've got this really cool relative, and you're like, no, you're less than 1% associated with someone cool.
Yeah, with your great grandparents. Yeah. So,
who gives a shit where you came from? Your lineage,
essentially,
your heritage doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if you're a descendant of Charlemagne. If at the end of the day you spend all day sat in front of the PlayStation playing Skyrim, it doesn't matter.
That's it.
I mean, kind of. It's more important about where you're going than where you've been.
Very true. Very true.
Nice.
What did you learn this week, Martin?
Very good. Well, I learned about a silly man called Robert Emmett Odlum, and he was a swimming instructor, born in 1851.
Yeah.
And he was made famous, or made himself famous, by being the first person to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City.
Oh, okay.
And the reason he jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge was because he wanted to show to people that you would not die simply falling through the air. And so what he wanted to demonstrate was that if a building is burning and you've got to jump out of the building into the net below, you're going to be fine because you're not going to be injured by falling through the air. Whether loads of people thought they were going to be injured falling through the air itself is another question. But anyway, this was apparently what he was trying to show. The issue came when he jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge, landed awkwardly on his neck, and died in the process. Yeah. So
did they put a net underneath and he was demonstrating?
No net. He's just jumping into the water.
Oh. Right. Yeah, that's not a good idea, is it?
Yeah. There was a bit of a wind. It kind of spun him onto his neck, and he landed on his neck. So so he died as a result.
How high is the Brooklyn Bridge? Because that's quite high, right?
Yeah, it's a tall one, isn't it?
Like if you jump from that, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Do you think he proved his point though?
I mean, in fairness, he didn't die on his way to the water, so there's a crumb of comfort there, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. No, he died proving his point.
Yeah. He's up there in heaven with Galileo, and Isaac Newton, and all these people, but nobody ever talks about him.
This is true. So, should we move on to our comments, our favourite comments of the week?
Yeah.
Let's.
So I've got a comment from Valorum, who says, this was in relation to us talking about our favourite execution methods in last week's podcast.
Yeah.
And they say, my favourite execution method is called blowing from a gun. It's where the convicted is tied to the mouth of a cannon and they just set the damn cannon off.
Ooh.
The process was described by a contemporary as the prisoner is generally tied to a gun and the upper part of the small of his back resting against the muzzle. When the gun is fired, his head is seen to go straight up into the air some 40 or 50 feet. The arms fly off right and left, high up into the air, and fall at perhaps 100 yards distance. The legs drop to the ground beneath the muzzle of the gun, and the body is literally blown away altogether. Not a vestige to be seen. And then he writes, maybe that's how Dick Turpin died.
I like that. Bring that in.
Thanks for that, Valorum.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they did during the Indian Mutiny of 1857?
Is that right?
I believe so.
Additional knowledge there.
Wow.
Very good, very good.
That doesn't even seem like a proper execution method. That just seems like some soldiers were bored.
Bored/torturous methods, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Because there's that whole thing about the head. Like, was it 20 seconds or a minute? If you're beheaded, your head lives.
Oh,
brain.
right, yeah. The nerves still making
Yeah,
it.
so would your last thought be the whole kind of like wee sensation of your head flying through the air?
I mean, you must also get instantly massively concussed. Surely it just blows straight through your head.
Yes. That's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, your brain's going to have instant damage. Significantly, I'd imagine.
This is the insight we expect from this podcast, isn't it?
Most redundant observation
ever. If you get shot in the head, you're likely to have some sort of significant brain damage.
With a cannon as well.
Yeah. The cannon.
You're likely to.
Yeah, no, you're there's no... Everything you said there is completely true, Alex.
I can't complain. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I think what I mean is unlike a guillotine, it's not like a clean cut, This
is true.
You're not going to have your head thinking for 20 seconds in the basket at the bottom. You're just
Yeah. I mean, whether even with the head being cut clean off, you're actually able to think and feel and see and all this kind of thing is debatable, right?
Yeah.
I need to actually look into that. That'd be really interesting to do. But I imagine that you wouldn't be able to actually feel and see, etc. Especially not if your head's blown off by a cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, but keep these execution methods coming in. I think this should be a recurring thing.
Actually, I'm quite interested.
It's so Alan Partridge. How would you like to be executed?
Oh, okay. So I've got a comment from Cassandra Kopinski, who points out, and this was a surprise to us as well, Uncovered has gone private. Sad face.
Yeah.
Goodbye stories from the bunker episodes that I like to rewatch when my insomnia hits. Yeah, I'm really, really sorry, Cassandra. That was a big surprise for us as well.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure what the story is there, but I think we covered it in our first podcast on Just Interesting. We kind of left that channel, the stuff that was there, we didn't anticipate necessarily that they were gonna make it all private, but we had no say in the content really and what they did with them.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing for us because it was a lot of work for a number of years, and when we left, we knew that of course we wouldn't have any kind of say or ownership over it. But at the same time, you hope that if it's not causing anyone any issues and it'd still be making the owners of it money, then they'd keep it up, right? Very disappointing, but it is what it is. Maybe they'll put it back live at some point. Maybe not. Unfortunately, we don't have a say over that, as you say, Alex.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a number of comments in the last couple of weeks pointing out that things on Uncovered, the old channel, have been privatized, and it sounds like the whole thing now, which is a real shame. But it's really touching to know that people are still watching, or were still watching that content, and still care about that, and still, it's touching that they assume we still have control over that, because we certainly have an emotional investment in it. We made all that content for a very long time, and quite proud of it. It's a shame it's no longer publicly available, and like Martin says, maybe it'll come back on. But at the moment, it seems like we've been doing nothing for the last 7 years, and Just Interesting has just appeared out of the blue.
Yeah, maybe I guess actually it fits with the whole lockdown thing, but maybe we need to get a new bunker. Maybe that's the answer.
Maybe that's the answer. Maybe there have to be a bringing back of, maybe, I'm not promising anything, but bringing back of certain strands potentially in the future. Slightly different guys. Perhaps. We'll see. We shall see.
Yeah, we're not committing to anything, and we're certainly not declaring a statement of intent, because we don't want to get sued. Hello.
Tales from the lockdown centre.
Stories from the cellar.
Well, I've got a comment from Ewan Birtwell, who suggested that maybe there is time for a change, because he said maybe a rename to the Just Castration podcast, which I'm guessing is a reference to the fact that for the last few weeks, each episode of the podcast has mentioned a fact about castration.
You've mentioned a fact about castration.
Yeah, let's be more specific here.
I want to be specific about that.
I have brought information to the table when castration has been mentioned, so I've been there to inform and entertain, I hope. And I just want to point out that I have not mentioned castration in this podcast. So
until this second,
do you have
any more facts? Any more facts about castration, or are we on a bit of a dry spell this week?
No, I mean I believe one fact I haven't mentioned yet is that it was one of the 5 kind of main punishments in ancient China.
There we go. There's your castration fact of the week.
Chinese legal system had 5 key punishments, and one of them was castration.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For men. For women, it was social, what's the word, exclusion.
Oh,
your banner.
Confinement, that was the word. Confinement, yeah.
Oh, confinement, okay. I mean, it still sounds maybe slightly preferable, doesn't it, to castration, perhaps.
True.
Yeah. Well, that is a genuinely interesting fact. I feel like the comment section is slowly morphing into execution methods and castration facts.
I mean, we could combine the two, I'm sure, in some kind of guise, couldn't we?
I'm all for it.
Oh, yeah. You're all for it. Okay, Alex. Martin, I smell an experiment coming on.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
That would not smell good. This experiment smells of balls.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
And curiously, they smell like hamster. What's going on?
Oh my goodness. With that said and done, shall we move on to the main topic of the week?
Yes.
And this is something that is probably more interesting than our viewers, our listeners have come accustomed to. And that is the revelation that there could be, signs of life on Venus.
Yeah.
Venus. So, of course, life on Mars is very much a hot topic, isn't it? That's been going around and debated for a long time. But Venus is hardly ever spoken about, is it? We wouldn't expect life to potentially exist on Venus.
Literally, if you asked me, I would have said Venus, last place in the solar system of life.
Close to the sun. Very incredibly hot. It's made up of over 95% carbon dioxide. When you think about the Earth, it's made up of 0.04, I think, of carbon dioxide.
Right, yeah.
So you think about how inhospitable that is as a result.
Yeah, you kind of think of Venus as like a warning of like what would happen to Earth if we messed this up, you know.
It's
the planet that's gone horribly wrong.
Exactly. It's basically a hellscape, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what is it, 464 degrees Celsius on the surface?
Yes, and it's covered in sulfuric acid, isn't it? Like 90% of the atmosphere is pure sulfuric acid.
It's telling that it's not the closest planet to the sun, but it is the hottest planet. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's why it makes it even more remarkable that this particular team has found that there's phosphine, the gas phosphine. And this is a particular molecule that's very much associated with life on Earth. So it's excreted from the guts of animals like penguins, and it's also found in things like swamps as well. So it's something that basically is a signal of life on Earth. And this has been found roughly 50 kilometers up from the planet's surface. So they're asking this question: could there be life on Venus as a result of this discovery?
Yeah, because I think it's important to point out there's no natural method for this gas to be produced, except for with organic matter, like with animals and that kind of thing. To them, those kind of chemical processes, and you can produce it artificially in factories. But there aren't any factories on Venus that we've seen anyway, unless there's an underground civilization. So yeah, I mean, it's weird how basically they're asking the question: how did this gas get there?
I think more importantly, they know that phosphine is produced on Earth by extremophile bacteria or microbes that live in extreme conditions, and I think actually it costs them energy to produce phosphine as a byproduct of their ingestion and egestion cycles. So as far as we know, it's a thing that's only produced naturally, and I think more tellingly, there's very little of it made on Earth, but if what microbes do exist on Earth were producing phosphine at 10% of the rate that they do actually produce it, you would have levels similar to what they've detected on Venus, I think.
Yes, it's statistic. It's only what 10 to 20 parts per billion atmospheric molecules.
Yeah.
But in the context of what they found, and the context of how much of this actually exists in the atmosphere, is actually a lot.
Yeah. So basically, the scientists are saying that if this thing exists on Venus, and exist in the atmosphere at the level where it's only 30 degrees C, so perfectly habitable for microbes, then there could be a lot of microbes on there compared to the ones that we know make it on Earth.
What would this life even look like if it was discovered?
Ooh, it would look presumably microscopic, so we'd have to use a microscope to look at it. And I guess it would be something akin to bacteria that we're familiar with on Earth, but even within bacteria, there's a huge variety in terms of shapes and formation.
Yes, yeah, I mean, that's the most likely thing, isn't it? We're talking about alien living organisms here, aren't we?
Yeah.
But certainly not the traditional grey aliens. We're talking about, tiny little microbes, aren't we?
Yeah.
But it does certainly open up the question to, okay, on these traditionally inhospitable planets, could much more life exist than we ever realised before? Just in other forms that we don't necessarily know about yet. It'd be interesting to know exactly the makeup of these microbes. Will we find out? I hope so.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
They do have a oh, sorry, Robin.
So I was going to say, they've sent probes to Venus before, haven't they?
But they haven't been very successful, have they? They've burnt up.
Yeah, the atmosphere, the pressure in the atmosphere is too great, and the probes don't last very long.
Basically.
Yeah, they just get crushed.
Which is mad. It's really scary to think about. But there are some exciting projects that are like being worked on, and it's mainly like sending balloons into the atmosphere to scan and take this kind of temperature readings and do a lot of other things in Venus's atmosphere. And there's also another exciting project where they could send humans to Venus, but in like airships in the atmosphere, which I find really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that idea because Venus is closer to us than Mars, isn't it? But everyone's focused on Mars, and I think we should take another look at Venus and don't write it off just yet.
I mean, we're saying closer, but was it roughly 150 million kilometers away?
Yeah,
that's a fair distance, but we can do that.
It's a little bit of a distance.
We could do that. I mean, what I can't imagine is just if you're a human out there, like the heat from the sun and the radiation from the sun, the levels and layers of protection you would need just to survive each day would be incredible. And I'm sure they would train them and prepare them for it. But I mean, that's a mission that, even more so than Mars, I would be reluctant to take up in terms of seeing my family again,
Yeah.
But because what astonished me about this headline is, apart from the excitement of it, like, oh, we might have found life on another planet, is the fact that so far, up to this point within our solar system, all the talk has been about first Mars, but more importantly, Europa, the moon of Jupiter, which is the ice moon. And although the surface is completely covered in ice, underneath they're pretty sure that there are oceans. And they believe that those oceans could be home because they're water, and because, as far as we know, water is the one universal element to the existence of life. They think there could be life forms, probably microbial, but possibly bigger, in the oceans underneath the ice on Europa. And we know that it's possible for organisms to live in those extremely cold, dark, high-pressure ocean environments, because if you go to the bottom of the seas on Earth, you come across not just microbes and that just live down there in these extreme conditions, but also fish, shrimp, octopuses, and things like that, miles deep in extreme cold, in utter blackness, and with very little to feed on, and yet you've got these complex life forms living there. And wonderfully, it's like when you go to a forest, particularly if you go to forests in like the rainforest, with this incredible variety of species, or if you go again to the oceans and look at the diversity of life down there, and you see some things, plants and animals, are just so weird, so bizarre, and it always boggles my mind, because I think every time I think, oh, alien life, I can't imagine what it would look like, and you see that, oh, there's this really bizarre creature on Earth that I would think of as completely alien if I met it accidentally in the street. So maybe alien life would look like something on Earth, or maybe there'd be something even weirder again living in under the ice on Europa, or deep in the canyons of Mars, or high in the atmosphere of Venus. It's quite exciting, really.
It really is.
It is. It's that unknown. Yeah. And they're planning some more exploration of Europa, aren't they? In a couple of years' time. There's some more studying on what exactly is going on there. So that'll be interesting to find out. I think. Do you guys think that in general we're at a stage where space exploration for the future of humanity, but also just for discovering extraterrestrial life, now that we've seen that there's water on various moons, and that there's potentially life on Venus. Do you think that funding will increase, and that going forward we'll see more space exploration? Or do you think we're at a time in our lives where it seems like that frontier isn't necessarily coming up with the results that we want to see? And if it hasn't already, then is it going to going forward?
I've got 2 words for you: Space Force. I've got 2 more words for you, and more seriously, Elon Musk.
Well, yeah, it comes back to him a lot, doesn't it?
In Musk we trust. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting question. Sorry, Alex. To make a quick point to elaborate on why I said Elon Musk. It's because it's both exciting that we're now in an era where private space travel is probably going to happen in the near future, and you've got these private individuals and organizations that are leading the way, and it's absolutely incredible. But it reminds us that when you privatize something like space exploration, you operate at the whims of the owners. So Elon Musk is nuts about Mars, and that's what we're going to get. But if Elon Musk or someone like him isn't interested in Venus, then we need government organizations like NASA, or international organizations like we have in Europe, to make these explorations, right?
It's a very good point. Yeah. Absolutely. And just to kind of like follow on from that, I reckon, we would see more interest in space when the technology to like mine and bring back asteroids exist.
What do you mean, when we can gain from it substantially?
Yeah. Exactly. I think once we can do that, that's when space is really going to kick off. So whether that happens in our lifetimes or not, I hope so. I really do. I hope that I hope we get to see people land on Mars. I think that would be incredible.
Yeah. I think we will. I think we might do in our lifetime.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
It would be really exciting. And what do you think would happen even if we just found microbial life on Venus? But what do you think? Would that send shockwaves through the planet? Do you think that would shake people's belief systems entirely, or how do you think people would react to scientists finding microbial life on Venus?
I don't think it would. I think the wider scientific community, it would maybe broaden their horizons for searching for alien life. Right, the focus wouldn't necessarily be on Mars and maybe looking on the moon and elsewhere. It would we'd maybe looking a little bit outside of the traditional circle of where we'd find alien life. There's been suggestions, of course, of water, as you mentioned earlier, Robin, of water being found on various moons and various planets, and potentially there being larger organisms like fish, as you say, that could exist on these planets hypothetically. Does finding microbes on Venus change the game?
That's a really good point.
I'm not so sure it does, but
really?
I think it broadens it. And maybe opens our eyes to the fact that life could exist even in some of the most traditionally inhospitable planets. I don't think it necessarily changes anything, especially for those for the layman in society who's wondering whether life will exist elsewhere.
Yeah, I would agree with you in terms of the impact to everyday people, because I think most people have already made up their minds whether or not they would accept the notion of alien life as a good thing or a bad thing. Either they're atheists who think alien life is a threat, or they're atheists who think alien life is just the done thing that they expect to find at some point, or they're theists who think alien life is just an extension of whatever deities plan for the universe, or they're theists who think alien life is just more of a test of faith, like fossils under the earth. But I think for scientists it makes a huge difference, because so far the search for life, let's say for example the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, but also just the search for any kind of life, whether or not it's intelligent, has focused solely on the rationale that water is the key ingredient for life, because that's all we know. Life on Earth, all of it, the common thing they have is water. So when they look for planets that might harbour life, they always look for Earth-like planets, and not just in terms of size and shape and position from their sun, but also the presence of water. That's what they look for. So in a weird way, it's exciting, because simultaneously you've got these scientists who are like, if there's microbial life on Venus without the presence of water, then we've got this exciting thing where we can broaden the scope of our study and our search, widen the net, and we can possibly increase our chances of finding alien life. That's amazing. But at the same time, you've probably got a relatively small number of scientists with relatively small budgets and resources looking for alien life, and here they are suddenly like, my God, man, the only thing we had to help us focus our search was that water was the key ingredient, and now you're saying water is not the key ingredient? How long is it going to take to conduct this study? We're going to have to look at every single sodding planet. This is going to take forever.
Yeah. So, and then that goes, and that just links directly back into my question of, do you think that funding for space exploration and looking for alien life out there will increase going forward in relation to discoveries like these? And that all just links up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think you're both right that at this point in human history, the development of space exploration in our society means that it'll only really develop meaningfully when there's profit to be had.
Yes, whether that's, as you say, Alex, mining for resources, or whether that's space tourism, which seems to be the path that the most people, that a lot of companies are going down or looking into, because there's obviously an immediate financial gain to that. We shall see. Yeah, we shall see. Yeah.
I mean, it does have a pretty scary implication if they did find life, and the conclusions were that life in the universe is much more common than we previously thought, because then it kind of goes back to the Fermi paradox of like, well, if life is so common, where is everyone? Why have we not been visited by aliens? Or have we been visited and we just don't know it if we can't recognize them? You know what I mean?
Interestingly, there's a potential solution to that paradox, which is, we've all heard of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, but there's also the project called Messaging Extraterrestrial Intelligence, which is partly founded on the principle of the Are We Living in the Simulation, or the Alien Zoo hypothesis, which is, if we are being observed by aliens, or if we're in some kind of alien simulation, searching for messages from them is meaningless, because they won't send any. They won't send us any messages. They're trying to keep their presence and their existence secret. They're just trying to observe us. If we send messages out to them, then particularly if those messages are, hey, we know you're out there, please send us a message. Then we're going to provoke a response. Yeah. So the Fermi paradox, the potential solution to the Fermi paradox is the Alien Zoo hypothesis, and a potential solution to confirming the Alien Zoo hypothesis is this project called Messaging Extraterrestrial Intelligence, which is kind of like a fringe version of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And I think there's an official organization which was founded in 2015 to lead that effort, but it's also just an ongoing effort that's been happening since SETI was set up as well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that theory. I kind of hope that's true. They're just planning a welcome surprise party when we're ready, to, and they keep checking in every now and then, and they're just like, they watch a few minutes of the Alex Jones podcast or the InfoWars, and they're like, they're not ready.
Every Star Trek fan knows that they're waiting for us to achieve warp speed, and until that happens, we'll never make alien contact.
Yeah. It's getting further away. Let's be honest. By the week, it's getting further away. Or maybe they're going to come in as the saviors when the planet's on fire.
Well, that'll be nice.
Maybe. Would you guys like our weekly quiz? Are you ready for our weekly quiz?
Of course, absolutely.
Yes.
Good. As always, there are 10 questions, and the theme of this week is knowledge general.
Okay, I was worried for a moment. I thought it was going to be the actual theme.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
you had me there, Martin.
Almost got it. No, general knowledge, 10 questions, and a bonus question if we're tired. But we always do it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, can I hear your buzzers, please? Alex.
Oh, yep. Well, I've gone for a tried and tested method as I'm up against Robin.
I think everyone will be able to sing along to your buzzer.
The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence.
There you go.
Very good.
It's
a California champagne by Paul Masson.
California champagne.
And Robin, what have you gone for this week? Is it traditional, or you've gone rogue?
It isn't. This is a new one for me, and I think a new one for this podcast.
Okay.
It is.
Give me a drink, bartender.
I like it.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it. That's like a good John Wayne
me a
impression.
drink.
That's from a viral video from 4 years ago. It's called "Give Me a Drink, Bartender." So
Fair
I like
enough.
it. No context, but we'll go with it. Okay. So, question number 1.
Yep.
What is the highest grossing Pixar movie of all time?
There's a California
Give me a
champagne
drink,
by Paul
bartender.
Masson.
I think, Alex, you got there just in time.
I'm going to go the highest grossing of all time. I'm going to go for Toy Story 4.
Ooh, it is not Toy Story 4.
Phew, I thought you had it. Okay, I'm going to go with Finding Dory.
Nope.
If it was Finding Dory, I would have been absolutely fuming.
Okay.
Okay.
Give me a drink, bartender.
Oh.
I don't know who got there. That was very, very close. Do you guys have a thought on who got there first?
I think I heard Robin's just as I hit play, so
Okay.
I'll give it to Robin.
It's very honest of you.
Oh, that's very kind. I'll go for the next obvious one then. Toy Story 3.
It's not Toy Story 3.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. Oh, this is interesting.
There's a California champagne by Paul
Champagne.
Masson.
I'm gonna guess. Is it Inside Out? Is that what it's called? Inside Out?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's not Inside Out.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Can we have a
this
clue?
is-
Give me a drink, bartender.
Yes, Robin.
Is it Incredibles 2?
It's Incredibles 2.
I know it's gonna sound like I'm making this up, but Incredible.
No,
I was
we're gonna go
debating
next.
between Inside Out and Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
Damn, 1.2 billion. 1.2 billion it grossed.
Oh.
Which,
I wanted to be. This is really arsey, but I kind of want. My instinct was, is that all?
yeah, well, it's Pixar. You think everyone goes to see them, right?
Yeah, you think like Avengers and Star Wars level gross. I mean,
Yeah.
1.2 billion is nothing to sniff at.
It's not bad. It's not bad. You'd be happy with it, wouldn't you? But yeah. You think that their top would match those big blockbusters?
Yeah.
Apparently not quite.
Awesome.
Not quite. Maybe that would change.
Well,
Not
I
with the
still liked
cinemas
the
being
cinema.
closed.
Loved it. So
Okay. Question number 2. What is a female cat commonly known as?
It's always been celebrated for its excellence.
Alex. Oh yeah, you buzzed in. No.
Yep. Is
Sorry,
it a
you
kit?
buzzed in. No.
Oh, okay.
You buzzed.
Wow.
You got to answer.
I've got no idea. I know
What
nothing
is-
about. Yeah, but, I mean,
Female.
I'll
Give
guess.
me a drink, bartender.
Yes.
Yeah, I know this is foxes, but is it a vixen?
It's not a vixen, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I'm kicking
No
myself.
idea.
Is this something that we have definitely heard of?
You've heard of the word, definitely. So a
Okay.
male one is often called a tom, isn't it?
Oh.
Tom. Whereas a female one.
The French
Champagne.
is not called a Tom, and it's not called a traditional name either. There's your clue.
Oh, well.
Is it a bobcat?
It's not a Bob. It's not. No.
Tom
No.
and Bob?
Yeah, because Tomcat is a thing. Bobcat, yeah.
Yeah. So you're going.
Yeah.
That doesn't really. I'm still clueless. I'm
No.
floundering in the wilderness, in the
Have
dark,
a
looking
guess.
for Dick Turpin. I have no clue.
If you don't get it, then I'll just let you guys know.
Oh, you know, have another clue? Another clue? I
Do you
need
want-
I need the points here, Martin.
Yeah, another
Do you
clue.
want another
maybe?
clue? Okay. Okay. Fingers on buzzers probably for this one.
Oh, okay.
It's a member of the royal family.
Ah, the French champagne.
Yes, Alex.
Kate.
No. It's not. It's not called a Kate.
Kate Cat.
A Kit Kat. A Kit Kat.
Kit Kat.
A Kit Kat, yeah.
It's called a Kit Kat.
I mean, that's not a bad guess. That's a really weird clue.
Is it?
The royal family.
No, I'm sure it's true. I'm not refusing the clue. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of
Wondering.
puzzled. Yeah.
Give me a drink, bartender.
Yes, Robin.
Is it a queen?
It's a queen.
Oh my god, of course it is. Oh, I'm such an
It's a
idiot.
queen. Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
But males aren't called king. They're called Tom.
They're called Tom. Yeah, Tom Cat
Huh.
and Queen.
Feel bad for them.
Should be called Philip, really, shouldn't
I'm such an idiot.
they? Question number 3.
Okay.
If a substance has a pH level of above 7, is it acidic or alkaline?
Give me a drink, bartender.
This is your hopefully your GCSE science coming back in here, Robin.
Oh, I know this.
What do you
I
This is a
know
think?
mistake because it's 50-50. So is it alkaline?
Oh, fuck's sake.
It is alkaline. Well done. Well done.
Damn it.
3-0.
Sorry.
It's a good start. It's a good start, but Alex, you've got plenty of time.
Plenty of
I
time.
knew that
Just
was-
Loads of
didn't-
questions left.
I was. This has just been. I'm not in the game. I'm not in the game. I need to get in the game. That's
Get in
what
the
I
game.
need to do. I
Slap,
need to
slap
get in the
yourself in the
game.
head a few times.
You're close. You knew that one, so you're close.
Come
yeah.
on, yeah.
Okay, question number 4.
You didn't see that, but I did to slap myself in the head
Oh, well,
several
okay.
times.
I've advocated violence here, haven't I? Live on the podcast. That's not good. If he does
Okay.
nothing to himself, I didn't tell him to. Question number 4. What does the W in George W. Bush stand for?
Ah, the
Give me a
French
drink, bartender.
champagne.
That was Alex.
It was Alex.
That,
What's your thoughts?
Martin, I believe, is Wilfred.
It's not Wilfred.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know
Okay.
that. And I'll be honest,
Uh,
I was grasping.
Is it Walker?
It's Walker. It's Walker, and it's 4-0.
Walker. George
Walker.
Walker Bush.
George Walker Bush.
Yeah.
Walker Bush.
Really?
And that's an interesting one, isn't it? I think it's one that maybe outside of the
Yeah.
US, people just think of the W, don't they? But they don't necessarily know what the
W.
W stands for.
No, and
good
it's
point.
reasonable to assume it's an ordinary name like William
Yes.
or Wilfred.
Yes, very true, very true. Alex, you've got to properly get your head in the game now, mate, because it's 4-0.
I feel like there's some bias here. I feel.
In what way?
I don't get the impression the quizmaster is rooting for the other side.
Oh, right. For me. Yeah, I mean, I think the quizmaster wants it to be an interesting quiz.
Well, as a quizmaster, you don't want it to be done by question 6, do you? That's not
Well,
that's
that's
no
true.
fun.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, Alex is going to make his comeback now. This is where Alex gets the next 6, and Robin is left in shame.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
Hope so.
Question 5. In Norse mythology, might appeal to you here, Alex. Which goddess rules over Helheim?
Ah, the French champagne.
Just trying to remember God of War, and if this came up, I don't think it did. Is it Freya?
It's not Freya.
Oh, okay.
Give me a drink, bartender.
Yes, Robin.
Is it Hell?
It's Hell.
Of course it's Hell.
Yeah.
Of course it's Hell.
Bloody,
And it did come up in God of War. Yeah. Yeah.
bloody hell,
Sorry.
you're doing well.
Luck at the draw.
That's the draw. Well, you knew it.
Do you know what pisses me off most about this, Robin? It's that you're such a humble person. You're like, oh, this is just luck. Oh, it's all this. As you're absolutely
is.
crushing me in this quiz. just own it. Just
That's very kind
Just
of you.
tell me
but
I'm
no,
an idiot.
I feel bad.
I don't think knowledge is not luck, though, Robin, is it? Maybe the questions, you knowing them is luck, but knowing them itself is far
But
from
there's
luck.
also like
You've
there's also
studied.
just
You
hitting the buzzer
yeah.
at the right time, and getting through before Alex does, and that's not.
You've seen what I've been doing, Robin. I've been hitting the
Yeah.
buzzer every single time, not even
and
knowing,
getting it
just so
wrong.
I can have a guess.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of time for Alex to equalise. That's the important.
Well, you've got to
thing,
get the
so
next 5 in a row right, but let's give it a go. Okay, Alex, question number 6.
Here we go.
Come on. What is a dried plum called?
The French champagne.
Champagne.
Oh,
Yes, boy.
goodness sake. Is it a prune?
It's a prune. It's 5-1.
Got
Here we
it.
go.
He's in the
The
game.
comeback
He's
starts
back
here.
in.
Question number 7. Who holds the record for the most number 1 singles
Singles?
for a female artist?
The French
French
champagne.
champagne.
Number 1 singles.
Number 1 singles?
I'm going to go for, is it Lady Gaga?
It is not the poker face lady. Gaga. Gaga.
That's a
Gaga.
good question. Yeah.
Unfortunately not. No, it's not.
I have a couple of clarification questions, but I feel like it is unfair to ask them before I make a guess.
Yeah, no, let's have a guess first.
You can ask the
So,
questions, but then that puts me back in the game.
Most number 1s for female artists. Who would have multiple number 1s more than Lady Gaga? And oof, is it Madonna?
It's Madonna.
I actually just want to say Robin didn't buzz, so...
So I was disqualified. Yeah, Alex gets a guess. Yeah.
Is it Madonna, Martin?
Technically, you're right, and it is Madonna.
Oh my god. No, I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
No.
The victory
I don't think
There
so.
are rules.
It wouldn't even
if
work.
we don't obey the rules, then it's anarchy, mate. It's anarchy. So.
Turned into an anarchist society.
I don't want to win this way. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't think there's much chance.
It's gonna.
But it is.
It can be.
But
It can be 6-4. That's fine.
It is 6-1. You got it right, Robin. Well done.
Oh, that's unfair.
It's really not unfair. It's perfectly fine. It's justified.
I mean,
well done.
this would be classic Robin. If by the end of the quiz and you're winning 9-1, you're going to just be like, "Yeah, but I didn't buzz." Be like, it's 9-1.
Yeah, we could have gone either way.
Question. Could have turned the
It's
tide.
true. Could have gone another way.
Question number 8. When or in which decade? Let's be a little bit broader. In which decade was the word robot invented?
The French champagne.
Yes.
I believe that was in 1880.
Okay. Well, you'd believe wrong
Damn it.
because it was not 1880.
Give me a drink, bartender.
Was it the 1910s?
Nope.
Damn it.
Can we have a
Any
clue?
more for any more for any more?
Is it like
I
this?
mean-
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine. It was in the 20th century.
Give me a drink,
The
bartender.
French champagne.
I think you got there first, Robin. Robot Robin.
Oh, I'm going to get this wrong. 1920s?
It was the 1920s.
Oh, thank you.
And it was actually first used by the playwright called Karel Capek, who used it in his play Rossum's Universal Robots, or Rossum's Universal Robots. I have to admit, I hadn't come across this play before.
Yeah.
This line. And actually comes from the Slavic word robota, which apparently loosely translates as forced labour.
Slave.
I think I have heard this fact before, but yeah, it's like I remember it being surprisingly early. Was the
Okay, yeah.
I think that was what I was thinking.
I think it's one of those where you're like, okay, it's got to be fairly recent because of robots, or it's going to be really old and come from the Latin for
Yeah,
something.
I think it's surprisingly late for me, actually, because what would you describe a robot as before that? Idea.
Yes.
I guess the concept didn't properly exist.
No,
until
not. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, not as a proper as a robot,
Machines.
But anyway, yes, well done. That's 7-1.
Yeah, all right, it's fine. It's fine. We're past that now. We're past that.
Sorry, Alex.
Okay.
Don't.
Okay.
This is what I'm talking. Just. I I'd prefer it if at the end of each question you're like, "Ha, suck it, you idiot."
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It'd be easier to digest, I think.
It would
No,
be.
you just don't. You could get angry, couldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't get angry.
I can't
You have
feel
to be
like I can justifiably get angry, and it's
You have to be angry,
and that's
internally
making me
yourself.
angry in
Get
this
angry.
vicious cycle.
Hulk out. Go on. Go for it.
Stop encouraging me. Stop being so nice.
Question number 9.
Okay.
How long, on average, it varies, is a horse pregnant for?
The French
We'll go for the closest month.
Oh, I'm not a farmer, so I'm not near horses. I don't know. 7 months. Is it 7 months?
It's not 7 months.
I'm also not a horse breeder.
I mean, that would be quite a revelation, wouldn't it? We're actually both horse breeders.
In my spare time, I breed horses. Is it 9 months?
Sorry?
Is it 9 months?
It's not 9 months. It's not the same as a human. No.
Well, I thought that might be the question.
trick,
The trick.
yeah.
The trick, yeah, it could have been. It could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. A horse is easier or harder to
has always
make?
been
Well, that's
celebrated
the-
for its
to make.
excellence.
It's going to quickly make a horse.
Is it 12 months?
It's not 12 months.
Is it? Oh, I'll buzz in this
Give me
time.
a drink,
Very good.
bartender.
Very good.
18 months.
No, it's actually 11 months.
I was pretty
11
close.
months.
You're
You
very
were
close.
very close. It can be. It's well, Alex. I
Maybe.
might give you that because it can be up to 12 months. But
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
usually,
definitely.
There you go. Gets
but
that
it's
point.
usually 11, but it can extend to 12. So you get a point there. You get a point there.
Thank you. I needed that. I'll be honest.
Yeah, you did. You did.
You deserved it, Alex. That's the
I
big
could-
point.
yeah.
You deserved it.
I think so. 12. It would have won a closest wins, and it is technically can happen that way. So yeah.
Doubly right. There you go.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Question 10. Who became the head of state in Nazi Germany after Hitler's death?
Oh,
That's a really good question. Huh. I mean,
Give me a drink, bartender.
Always been
Yes,
celebrated
bartender.
for its-
I'm going to assume this is a trick question, and the answer is Heinrich Himmler,
It's
although
not.
he committed suicide too.
It's not a trick question, and it's not Heinrich Himmler.
Okay.
Probably get demonetized now for that one.
It is a California champ.
is it? Does it? Sturwitz or something? Sterlitz? Does it begin with S?
No,
Oh, okay.
it does not begin with S.
Do you know what I'm trying to think of? I'm trying to think of that
Yeah.
Mitchell and Webb sketch. When when there's the
Yeah.
new Führer, and I'm trying to think of his name.
Yeah.
This is a great question. I genuinely never thought about this.
I watched the old, what's it called, the World at War, the old DVDs, the
Oh,
colorized
yeah.
versions,
Yeah.
and there's an
That's a great
episode
show.
on this person, or well, it's largely about this person.
If this is a clue, Martin, this is not a great
No,
clue.
it's not. I'm just saying why it came to my mind as a question for the quiz.
Right, yeah.
Can we have a clue of what his name began with?
His surname
Yeah.
Yeah.
D. Should be quite a big clue.
It's not really. Dummkopf.
He was a big fish before the end of the war. That's another clue.
Alex, I feel like we should know this. But
D.
It was a big fish.
yeah, you keep saying it.
I mean, I feel okay. I mean, I don't know my fish either, so
Yeah, I'm like.
His name doesn't.
Are there any English names for fish?
His
that begin with D,
name. His
Alex?
name doesn't have any kind of connection with the word fish.
why are
The
we
fish-
emphasising he was a
Why
big
did you
fish?
say it?
Because
That was totally a clue.
because he was. It would a cryptic clue word crossword. It probably would be good enough. Because his role previously was related to fish in some way. Not not directly,
What are you
but
talking
water.
about?
Let's just say water.
He was head of the Navy.
Let's
Is
just
that
say he
what we're
was.
saying?
Yeah, he was the chief admiral. Let's just say that.
I don't know the chief
No,
admiral.
doesn't
beginning
help.
with D.
Does that not help?
This doesn't
okay,
help.
I'll just say it was Karl Donitz.
Ah,
Donitz.
good old Carl.
Yep. Does that ring any bells?
Yeah.
Not really.
I think I was thinking of that with my guess. I was
You
trying
did
to
say it. You said it
Sturlitz
to
or
the
something.
end.
It's
You said
something Sturlitz. Yeah, Derlitz.
I
I think it's how they
yeah.
pronounced it in the thing. It's
thing
fine.
was,
I
Alex,
didn't know it. I got it.
The thing was, Alex, when you said it at the end, I was like, I don't want to say it's close because then it could have given an additional
you went for
clue.
Sturlitz or something, didn't you?
Yeah,
that was pretty
Sturlitz.
close.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know Carl
Yeah.
though. Carl Derlitz.
Carl.
So how long was he the leader of Germany for?
Oh, like a month. It was not very long at all. I'll have a look.
Ah,
Yeah.
He was,
Just long enough to
head of
surrender.
state for 23 days.
Yeah.
From the 30th of April to the 23rd of May. Or 24th May.
And was he responsible? Was he like the official guy who surrendered to the
Yes.
Allies?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he surrendered, yeah.
Because I guess his legacy is he brought World War II to an end.
Yeah, I guess so. And was the head of the U-boat menace, wasn't he?
What happened to him?
Less
Do we
of a
know
good
what happened
legacy.
to him afterwards? Was he like a war criminal charged as
He
war criminal?
was sentenced to about a decade in prison, and then he was released, and he lived in Germany until he died
Oh,
Right.
in like the 70s or 80s or something. So he lived until he was quite old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Let's have a look.
because that was the joke in that. Have you seen that sketch?
No.
He's like, he comes in and they say like, oh, the Führer's dead, you're the new Führer, and he's like, I've got these massive plans for Germany. Like, we're going to work
Yes.
on like social economic plans and stuff, and they're like, yeah, we actually just want you to call this number and
Yeah.
say
Yeah, I
say
remember the
these
sketch.
words. We surrender.
Yeah, no, he died. He died in 1980, aged 89.
Wow, he lived a long life.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah. So there we go. Right, bonus question.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I need my...
Closest wins. How many steps do you have to climb to reach the top of the Empire State Building? Good luck.
Is this closest wins?
Closest wins.
Give me a drink, bartender.
Yes, Robin, what are you thinking?
1,000.
Yeah.
Nice round number.
Paying back for my
1,000?
son.
Okay.
I'm going to go 1001.
Alex, you are closest.
Yes.
It's 1,576.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
That will get
that's
you
quite
to
a
the
lot
top. So quite a few steps.
Yes.
Get your hiking boots on.
They could reduce it if they made the steps really big.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
really long
they
steps.
could, yeah.
Really dangerous. Actually, that just reminds me of a video I remember seeing on of a race. There is an annual race, I think, in New York to run up the Empire State Building.
No.
The
Really?
steps of it. Yeah, I believe that's the case.
That
I think
can't.
Spider-Man wins every time.
That can't be safe.
Oh, yeah.
What if there's a fire? All
I
those
don't know,
people
man.
race-
Maybe it's time trials. I don't know. Like, maybe. I don't know if this still happens. I'm not sure. I'll have a look afterwards. I might have been completely making this up.
Imagine you're working there and there's just like a massive race going on in the stairwell.
Yeah,
They must close the
You know,
building
I'm
for
gonna-
that day, right? Surely.
I'm gonna have to look this up now. Empire State Building stairs race. Yeah, it's called the Empire State Building Run Up Race,
Cool.
and it happens every year. Although it's not happening this year because of COVID,
Of COVID. Hmm.
or it didn't happen.
What's
I don't know.
what date does it normally happen on?
May? So it's 11th of May 2021.
Oh, the 11th of May. Lucky it's not the 11th of September.
Why would you say that?
Oh, is it, yeah. I guess. Yeah, it would make things harder.
Yeah. That'd be
Um,
probably an inappropriate time for them to have that.
Yeah, but a bit too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon. There was it was on the Super Show podcast where they were discussing.
Hmm.
I think it was on the Super Show podcast. They were discussing too soon, whether something's too soon. Was it the Super Show? I can't remember. Anyway, shout out to those guys.
It's the kind of thing that they talk about.
Yeah, and is it too soon? It's been 20 years roughly. It was 19 years.
19 years.
19 years a few days ago. I mean, it's very much in the minds of everyone who lived around the time, right? So, when does something become not too soon?
We spoke about this in the podcast last week. Are you thinking of us?
I could be thinking of us, yeah.
Because we were saying how Alexander the Great, people don't think of his atrocities.
It might have been us. It might have been us.
Because it was so far away. But whereas Abraham Lincoln, some people might be like, ooh. Which surprises me, because that seems like quite a lot. You know, people make World War II jokes and stuff.
Yes.
And that's not seen as, you know, you can make an Adolf Hitler joke and that's not seen as too soon, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
but like Martin said, it's like once you ascribe an identity to the people that you're talking about, that's when it becomes too soon.
Yeah, and there's certain topics of World War II that you wouldn't make a joke about, and rightly so.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know. Is it too? Yeah. Although,
is it too soon? Let us know your thoughts, please, either in the comments below on YouTube or by sending us a message on Twitter at JInterestingYT.
Exactly. Don't be too harsh on Robot Robin as well, because he's only being programmed. It's not his. You know, he cannot be held responsible for his inappropriate comments, which is lucky considering.
I suppose I should thank you.
Castration,
get out clause. Yeah,
castration got brought back up, as did. What were you saying about love juice earlier on as well?
Oh, love juice. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you meant by that, but I'm sure it's probably something disgusting too.
Martin, you're such a sexist.
I'm not even going there. I'm not even going there. But where our audience should go, though, if they feel inclined, is over to our Patreon for a little more interesting, where we did discuss Roger Stone. So check that out. That was a perfect segue. And thank you both for joining me on this episode. And
thank you for that excellent quiz.
And hopefully, even after this shambles of a podcast, people will join us next time.
Thank you so much for listening, guys, and hope you have a nice week.
Yeah, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.